Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome everybody to our powerful weekly live stream session. Let's take a deep breath together. And just come into this beautiful sacred space together. Please say hello. Please give an emoji in the chat of your current mood or a word. If you are new and you feel called, you can introduce yourself. It would be great to hear from you if you're new or if you're returning. And I'm super excited to be here with you all today. Welcome Nancy, welcome Susie. Well, Susie, seems like I have not seen you before. And Nancy, glad to see you again, as always. I am Natalie, spiritual life coach and Reiki master teacher. I've been teaching here on Insight Timer for a number of years now. And this live stream series here that we're on at this moment is my longest running series. I have been coming live every Sunday morning for 4 years. So for most of you, if you've joined in, like not in the past year, but before that, it was Saturday night. And that's because I was living in Asia, and now that I'm back in Mexico for a year now, it is a Sunday morning live. So wonderful, Susie, glad to have you. So today what we're going to be doing is pulling various cards, oracle cards and tarot, to get messages on advice and energy for you for your week ahead. This is a collective reading, so trust that you're here, you found it at the right time, and that the messages are for you. Good morning, Allie and Patty Lou. Welcome, welcome. So with the messages, since it is a collective reading, take what you like, leave the rest, don't force anything to fit. And you'll be surprised if you are new here how resonant the messages can be, even though it is collective. I do offer one-on-one personalized readings, so if you do want a personal reading, and you can experience what my readings are like, and you want more of that, and you can reach out and send me a private message. Welcome, Nicole. Snow, wow. Snow is nice as a novelty for me, but not as a lifestyle. I was talking to my friend in Berlin, and there's been snow there, and I was telling her, it's great like that first day or maybe 2 when it's beautiful, when the snow is untouched, everything is so quiet from the snow blanketing and dampening sound. And that's magical and beautiful. And, but after a while, it's like not. The snow gets dirty, the cold sets in. So I love where I choose to live, which is mainly in Paradise island paradises in Asia is mainly where I've spent my time in the past 13 years. And here where I live in Mexico is actually one of the best climates in the world. So I'm very grateful for that. Good morning, Andrea, Eliana. Glad to see you. So if anybody does want a personalized reading, I do offer that one-on-one. Send me a message. Please follow me here on Insight Timer. If you don't already, that is helpful for me. If you feel called to support, even following helps. Bring a friend. I know a number of you have done that. If you haven't checked out my meditations here in Insight Timer, please do so. I have a number of free and premium tracks with many thousands of listens by this point. It also helps when people review the meditations, if you feel called to do that, or if you feel you can give a donation. That is also helpful. This is all I do here. This is my calling, my purpose. So I'm very grateful and thankful to Insight Timer and to all of you. So welcome, J.E., Snowy Canada. Good morning, Kat. Great to see you. So for those of you that celebrated American Thanksgiving, I'm curious how that was for you. We did a live stream, actually a week ago. We did a card reading for the energy of the week, the holiday week. And the day before Thanksgiving, we had a special live stream on dealing with holiday dynamics. So let me know how your holiday was, if you did celebrate. Mine was wonderful. I had a nice lunch with a friend, and it was great. So the thing that, about holidays and things anywhere in the world is, there can be this, woo, did y'all hear that horse? Anyway, I live in Mexico, so horses go by outside my door. There can be an energy of obligation with holidays. People feeling forced to attend even though they don't want to, and things of that nature. So for those of you that were in any of those kind of dynamics, hoping that you were able to make it through with peace and ease as much as possible. So a quiet holiday, Kat. Was that good for you? How was that? So I'm going to start getting out my cards, and we're going to start with Michael Singer. Quiet. I imagine that was a good thing, Kat. So Michael Singer is the best known for The Untethered Soul. How many of you have read this book? Give an emoji. Or The Surrender Experiment, his amazing memoir, and his newest book, Living Untethered. I had the once-in-a-lifetime privilege of meeting him a year ago, and I got these cards from The Untethered Soul. They're quotes, so I love to bring in his voice into the room. He's really impacted and changed my life with his teachings over the past years. And for those of you who, know The Untethered Soul, and that came out a long time ago, I invite you to check out his podcast. For me, The Untethered Soul book, I remember 10 years ago, carrying it around with me and it being sort of my Bible for a while. And it was great. And when I discovered his podcast maybe 4 years ago, or 3-4 years ago, that took his teachings to the next level. And I have done a number of live streams on, we would listen to Michael Singer in the live stream and then have a discussion. So all my replays are available on my YouTube channel. So, and I have them in playlists of the themes. So if you want to check out my Michael Singer series, you can find that. You can send me a message if you want help finding it. And yeah, I've done a number of different series over the years, so you can check all that out. So, Michael Singer says today, when you feel pain, simply view it as energy. Let go and give room for the pain to pass through you. When you feel pain, simply view it as energy. Let go and give room for the pain to pass through you. So how many of you want to take that message and put it in your pocket for the day? Is anybody dealing with pain? Could be any sort of pain. Simply view it as energy. Nancy, Sarah. Simply viewing it as energy. And I talk about this a lot, so I'm an ancestral clearing practitioner. And we will do ancestral clearing today as well at the end of the session after the reading. We will do some Reiki and ancestral clearing. So stick around. That can help with any sort of physical symptoms like a headache. Allie, sorry to hear that. Or those of you in physical pain. Or of course, Reiki helps with emotional, mental as well, any sort of pain. But in the ancestral clearing process, when I guide people into that one-on-one, or if we're doing it in a very specific way, we look at where do you feel sensations in the body. Your mind might label it as pain. Pain is a very loaded word. Pain has a lot of mental associations with it, emotional associations. And so, at the root of it, there's a sensation, and the sensation could be a physical sensation. It could be another kind of bodily sensation, like a rapid heartbeat, or a clenching of the gut. So when we work on the body level, the somatic level, these are all just neutral sensations. Then if we look at, if we label them, that label can be helpful and it can be a hindrance. If we label something as pain, if we label something as anxiety, then we're bringing in a whole constellation of how many other times have I had pain or anxiety, and it becomes, this more, it takes on a lot more. There's a lot more baggage. There's a lot more associations when we label things. And it's usually not helpful if it's a unpleasant sensation. So for anyone dealing with anything like this, I invite you to just release the layers, release the labels, and do your best and practice. Just practice, experiment with, there's a sensation. Can I be the loving witness and observer of that sensation right now in this moment? This is the only moment that there is. And as Michael Singer says, simply view it as energy. And that can help because there's pain and then there's suffering, right? The pain is just the sensation. The suffering is everything we attach to that. Hi, Marcy. So, well, the messages are already beginning. So we'll go next to Work Your Light Oracle cards. I like the voice of these cards. It's very ethereal, and there's a lot about our invisible supports, our multi-dimensional support system. So let's see what card comes up. Okay. So this card is Mintaken. We've gotten this card before. So Mintaken, and I just have a very loose understanding, but it's some form of like starseed or beings, from other realms and places that have incarnated as humans. It says the original light workers. So it says longing for home, belonging, and the original light workers. So how many of you can relate to having an experience in this life of feeling like you've never been home, or home is somewhere else, or there's some sort of longing to be home and it not being where you've ever been, or not feeling like you belong, or not feeling like you fit in? So if so, and if you believe in these sorts of things, then you may want to look into this. If you can see the card Mintaken and see what messages, if that might resonate for you. So Kat, Eliana, Patricia, hello. I want to look that up. So that card deck has, of course, a guidebook with it. So I want to see the explanation for this. We've read it before, but it's been a long while. Hi, Amy. Yeah, and actually, there's according to Marissa Peer, who invented rapid transformational therapy, of which I am trained in, she says there's 4 or 5 core wounds that all of us have at least one, and come from childhood and really inform our life experience. So I'm not enough, I'm not lovable, I don't belong, and I don't fit in. So, there could be 2 different things happening here if this card resonates with you. It could be the starseed dynamic, or it could be the childhood dynamic, or a bit of both, of, not feeling like you've ever belonged. Hi, Huma, welcome. So it says Mintakens are a soul group who originated on a planet in the constellation Orion. They were the first star beings to travel to Earth and believed to be the original light workers. And it says their home planet is thought to have been a water world with water so pure you could see through it for miles. For this reason, Mintakens feel most at peace and at home when in or around crystal clear water. They're here to teach us to see the potential in everything in the light in all beings. They often have an odd longing for home and struggle with feeling like they don't belong. If this card came up, it could mean you are a Mintaken or are longing for a sense of belonging, and root chakra healing is necessary for you to feel secure and safe. Perhaps you've been moving around a lot and yearn for a place on Earth to call your own. If so, you're being called to connect with Mother Earth and create it for yourself now, to choose where you feel most at home and create it, rather than waiting for the feeling of belonging to come. So there's a healing quote, if this resonates. I allow myself to be truly here and at home on this planet. I release any grief around not belonging or feeling held and call in the perfect home. So I feel like that's an important message for some of you here. Ooh, interesting, Andrea. Minnetonka. That's very close. So we will now get a message from another deck that I always love to use, Sacred Rebels. So the message is refining, the message is condensing and coming through. The longer that, the more cards that we draw, it's like this, it's crystallizing, it's coming into form. And even if you don't believe in the starseed thing and all that, the message is about finding your own home, if that's within, if that's without, if that's out in the world, not waiting for that sense of belonging before you create it. So we've got this card before very recently, Spirals of Manifestation. Who was here when this card came up before? So how this fits into the message today is remembering that you are the creator. Like, even though there might have been childhood stuff, even though you might be a starseed and you feel a longing for that, you still have free will here in this human incarnation, here on this planet now. And you have choice. And in that choice is your power. So what do you want to create? What do you want to manifest? The default for us in our human minds is looking at what we don't want. That's survival. So we get to shift our mindset into a mindset of creation. It's kind of like, it reminds me of race car drivers when they train and things. There's this idea that you have to train your mind to not look at the wall, because if you look at that wall, you'll crash into it. So you must look at where you're going and where you want to go. You put your eyes on the road of where you're headed and where you want to go, although the default is to look at, I don't want to hit this wall on the race car track. So you must learn to retrain. Your body's going to go where your eyes are. The car is going to go where you're looking. So if you're looking at the wall, you're going to go into the wall. So don't do that. Ooh, that's awesome, Marcy. This card came up. Oh, I did an 11/11 reading. It was probably here with this card. Yeah, it was. You're right. Thanks for that reminder. So, because what's coming up, I don't know how well you can see the card, but her vision is so clear. Like, her eye is looking so, it just looks like she's so focused, pure focused attention on what she's creating. So her vision looks very clear. So this is the message for you, that you work with that dynamic when you see that coming up. And it comes up so often with so many of us all the time. What I don't want. I don't want this to happen. I don't want that to happen. I don't like this. I don't like that. It's a retraining to be like, what do I want? Where do I want to go? What do I want to create? And for those of you that, have some sort of physical pain, emotional, mental pain, working with what we already talked about working with the idea of releasing the labels that your mind automatically puts on those sensations. If it's anxiety, if it's grief, sadness, If it's physical pain sensations, to work with that idea of releasing the labels and just being with the sensations, letting go, letting that move through you, and then focusing on what do you want, or what's working, what is working in my life, what is working in my relationship, what is working in my business, what is working in my body and in my health. And in my spiritual life coaching, this is exactly what we focus on. Where do you feel stuck? Where is the wall that you're looking at? I don't want this, but I can't help but see this everywhere. Okay, where do you want to go? What do you want? And then what do you think could get in the way of you creating that? So I have a powerful visioning process that I take people through, and as part of my gift to the community here, if you have not experienced a session with me before, I offer that as a gift. So if that feels helpful, if this is resonating, send me a message. So I'm just going to look at the book and see if anything pops out to share before we get some clarification. Yes, I remember now. I'm glad you remembered, Marcy, about the 11:11 reading. So this card reminds you there's no point in rushing to the bus stop. How many of you have had that experience? You hurry and you rush to get to the bus stop, and then you wait 30 minutes for the bus. So as far as whatever your manifestations are and the things that you want to create, just trust. You don't have to rush, you don't have to force, you don't have to push. If you're way too early to the bus stop, you're wasting your time. You don't need the anxiety that comes from rushing towards your destiny. Try not to worry quite so much about the future. You will attract what you want and need so much more enjoyably if you relax and deal with the here and now. And remember, too, that your life path is unfolding in harmony with the paths of others. You will meet with each other for the greatest benefit when you trust in the flow of the one great creative spiral upon which this galaxy spins. Everything is ultimately in harmony with everything else to fulfill the great, big, creative intent of the supreme creative force of love. And you're included in that. You are lucky. All right. So let's see. We're going to use our amazing light seers as more clarity and more details on this reading. Ah, beautiful. Another manifestation card. Got some beautiful energy coming out. And after this, as I said, we're going to be doing the Reiki and the Ancestral Clearing. Ooh. Lots of cards are coming out. A story is being told. Ooh. It might be a little bit of a rocky road here. Okay. It ends with a positive note. I always like to end a reading on a positive note. Before we get into all of these cards, there's like, ooh, I am going to take a bathroom break. If anybody else needs to do that, briefly, just like 1 minute, and then we'll continue with the message, and then we'll get into the Reiki and Ancestral Clearing. So I will return in a moment. Oh, thank you, Marcy, for the donation. If anybody cares to donate, it is much appreciated. So, the first card in this clarification part of the reading is this beautiful transformation energy of the star. So this is after a difficult moment. The star comes after the tower. The tower is a crumbling, is a dissemination that feels like it was outside of your control, and like things crumbled and were destroyed. And then from that, there's a clearing that happens so that something new can emerge. And that's what this star energy is. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck. So it's calling you to tune into your heart and to really be that emotionally intelligent, emotionally mature, very loving presence of where you are shifting out of living from your head and into your heart. The thing is that, you know, you're rewiring yourself. As we've talked about, it's like this conditioning from childhood, the way the mind works, being in survival, and you might feel like you're at a crossroads. You know, something might occur, whatever this specifically is for you. I mean, this is a group reading, so it's going to be different for everyone how this star energy shows up. But it's transformation. It's transformation of some kind that's asking you to really tune into that beautiful Queen of Cups energy that lives from their heart. But it's gonna force you into some change, and it's not gonna be easy. You're gonna feel like you're being pulled in two directions. You don't know which way to go. It's new territory. That's what transformation is. It's the unknown. It's going to be really hard. The Three of Swords. There's going to be some kind of heartbreak and some kind of loss. And this is just part of the journey. So, you know, trust that if this comes up for you, if this unfolds for you, that it is a necessary part of the journey, although it sucks. I mean, you can see the energy of this. It might be the loss of a relationship. It might be the loss of your identity of who you believed yourself to be. You know, it could be an ego death, which is painful but necessary. And sometimes, you know, things have to change in order for things to change. And it is not easy, you know. We had this card on Wednesday. I drew some cards. This is a card of illusion and of things being hidden. So, you know, you don't know the whole story right now. With everything you can see and everything that you have in your life, and from the vista that you're looking from right now, things are hidden from you. Things are not clear. The moon is about illusion. So, you know, the thing is, you have to just trust. Don't fall into anxiety. You might feel trapped as you go through this process. Yeah, it's interesting because we have two cards of being blinded, of not seeing. But you know, that's an illusion, because if you see this upside down, look, she has her eyes wide open, she has her freedom, she is not bound, she is not blind, but yet that is what her mind is focused on. So don't let this happen, basically, is the advice. Don't do this. And if it happens, you have the power of noticing. And if you can ground into the earlier energies of living from your heart, staying in the moment, keeping your eyes on where you want to go, on your goal, on what you're creating, staying grounded in your heart, you will be able to move through that more difficult time easier. And at the end, there is victory. At the end, there is success. So just know and just trust that whatever this journey is for you, that's all happening, is for your highest good. It's happening for you. It's not happening to you. That's really important for some of you to hear. It can be really hard in these difficult energies, you know, to not feel like this is happening to me. Why is this happening to me? Again, that's the normal thing. That's the mind looking at the wall, that trying to protect itself. It's like, let's shift back and do that very gently with so much loving compassion in every moment. That's why you need this heart-centered energy, this noble Queen of Cups, because everything's going to be okay. It's going to be better than you can expect. And this can be like worldly success as well. And it's success that others see and others celebrate with you. So I'm going to look up this Queen of Cups in the Light Seers Tarot. And see what it has. So this is your guidance on how to make it through this bumpy energy. So the affirmation for this card is, my intuitive heart openly expresses deep love and compassion. My intuitive heart openly expresses deep love and compassion. So go back to that. Stay grounded in your intuition. Stay grounded in your heart so you don't get stuck here in the mind. So this card means an extremely intuitive person, highly attuned emotional intelligence, love and compassion, sensitivity, strength, leading with your heart, and healing. So this is your North Star. This is your compass. This is your guide to stay centered in your heart, even as your heart may be breaking. That you will be, the witness and the parent. This is what reparenting is. And I do this in my coaching with people, of like grounding people into their power, into their sovereignty, into that part of themselves that is love, in order to hold the part that's wounded. And this takes, presence and loving compassion. So it says that this card is, the Queen of Cups is one of the most intuitive characters in the tarot. In her dreamlike state of resonance, she asks, how well have your emotions been helping you in your current situation? So if your emotions are like these other emotions, again, you have the sovereignty to work with that. And it goes back to, the beginning of this message of like, when you feel pain, view it as energy. Let go and give room for the pain to pass through you. Being that loving witness. Anchoring in this and not letting yourself spiral. And, it can be very easy to spiral with these other energies. Intuition and creativity are here to guide you, and as you take your next steps, seek to see the divine. Seek to see love in all things, all people, in all situations. So again, looking at how is this happening for me and not to me. Again, looking at where you want to go. Being crystal clear on where you want to go, not where you are, and not looking at the problem. So if anybody wants, again, a personal reading, you can send me a message. If you want the explanations from some of these cards that I've read, I can send you the links to the things that I've read. This deck of these cards is the Light Seers Tarot. It's probably, I would say, the most popular tarot deck now. It came out and it's just like, you can see it's amazing. Yeah, and again, if this resonates, if this message resonates and you feel the heart's call, I'm offering that gifted visioning process to those in my community who have not had a session with me before. So feel free to reach out, send me a message through here or anywhere that I am. You can find me very easily, and you can follow me everywhere that you choose, including here. So we're going to get into the Reiki and Ancestral Clearing now, and I am going to bring in clearing for the themes that were in this message today, as well as, Reiki energy in this, especially in this group setting. The intention is just that it goes and does whatever is needed for each person's best and highest good, and trusting that. Yeah, so we will begin. You can go ahead and close your eyes. Just close your eyes and settle into this beautiful space. Just focusing on the breath. Even breathing slower and deeper if that feels helpful. As I activate the Reiki and the Silvana healing energies for transformation and new beginnings. And just allow yourself to receive. Just open yourself and surrender. Trust and allow. Relax the body. Begin to breathe a little slower and deeper, coming back to the body. Feeling the surface that you're on. Allowing the eyes to open. And coming back. Very powerful energy healing today and clearing. And there was a lot of energy of disappointment and letdown that came up for clearing. So I'd be curious to hear your experiences, what you felt shifting or coming up for you, if you care to share. If this was helpful for you, please give a donation. That helps me to help you more by being able to continue to be here and dedicating my time to being with you on Insight Timer. Welcome, Stacy. If you want a one-on-one reading, you can reach out. That's a service that I offer. Whatever part of the reading that you heard, it's a collective reading for everyone. So take what you like, if it resonated. Thank you, Nancy, for the donation. You're welcome, J.E. And please follow me here. I'll put up the donation button. And I want to say there's so much support for you here, just in your life, tangibly, with humans around you. So look for support where you may not have seen it before. And then there's so much spiritual support for you that's already here, that's already helping. Thank you, Allie, for the donation. You're welcome, Nancy. Yeah, it's a bit of a lot of energies in the reading today. And here's the follow button if you haven't and you care to follow me. Stay tuned, more live streams will be added very soon. I will be doing one on being sugar-free for the holidays, as that is something that I help people with, is releasing sugar from their lives. For me, that was a very powerful addiction. I also help people with addiction in general, as I've been clean and sober for almost 27 years. And as I said, I have the visioning process that I offer for those who have never had a gifted session with me before, where we'll look at where you're stuck in your life, where you have challenges, where you are now, and where you want to go. And start creating that, what you want in your life. It's very powerful. And that's what I support people on in my life coaching. Hi, Laura. Yeah, if you or anyone else missed it, the replay will be instantly available on my YouTube channel in the live section. So once I stop this, it automatically I don't know, there might be a little bit of a processing time on YouTube, but it's pretty much very quickly available as a video you can watch. As are all my replays or my live streams over the past 2 years, I think. All of them are over there as replays. You can watch anytime. They're divided into playlists of topic. So follow me here, follow me there, Facebook, Instagram, website. You can see my profile here, and the links for all that are there. So I will see you all very soon. Yes, Laura, all of them. Any live stream you've mostly, unless there was a technical glitch, they're all over there. Yeah. So have a wonderful morning, afternoon, and evening. Yes, great, Cynthia. Great to see you. And yeah, you can check that out over there. Really powerful messages today, as always, and stay tuned for more. You can join my group, Natalie's Healing Circle, as well. If you do want to listen to, I do have, they don't let you share your free tracks here in the promotional pop-ups, but what I'm sharing on the screen now is a premium track I've created called The Powerful Abundance Prayer with Ancestral Clearing and Reiki. Excuse me, so you can check out what the Ancestral Clearing prayers are like, and I do that as a one-on-one interactive process as well. If you have any issues with abundance of any kind, check that out. And I do have a free prayer called the Master Prayer. That's in the free section, but I can't put that on the screen. So check it all out. You're welcome, Kat. So glad to have you today, Allie. And I will see you all very soon. Much love and namaste.